So starting with your fourth chapter, chapter 4, electric circuit. So we'll see the third chapter, that is engineering drawings, later. So first we'll start with the electric circuit. So guys, you have to understand this chapter very carefully because this is the basic of electrical maintenance. If you know these terms, then it will be easy to understand the further terms which are used in this chapter or this electrical maintenance syllabus. So you have to know this basic chapter. So starting with your electric circuit. So we'll start with the basic concept. So in electrical, we'll start with the basic concepts like what is current, voltage, resistance. Okay, so we'll see this. So first we'll see what is conductor. Okay, so first we'll see what is conductor. So conductor is material which allows the flow of electric current. So conductor is material. Conductor is material which allows the flow of electric current. I will write here. It is material which allows flow of electric current. So these are conductors that allow the electric current to flow. So these conductors, the examples are copper, steel, gold, silver, etc. But we use copper, aluminium, okay. Gold and silver are not used. So conductor is material which allows the flow of electric current. So opposite of this, what is the insulators? So what are insulators? So opposite of this is insulators. So these are materials which do not conduct electricity. So these materials which do not allow the flow of electricity. So the current will not pass through these materials. So its definition is similar. It is material which not allow the flow of electric current. And examples are dry wood, glass. Okay, so these are the examples of insulator. So is it clear? Conductor and insulator. Conductors allows the flow of electric current. And examples are copper, steel, silver, gold. Okay, and insulators are which do not allow the flow of electric current. So now we'll come to the point, what is current? So current is nothing but it is a flow of electric charge like electrons. So current is flow of electric charge, that is electrons. Whenever the electrons flows, or it is the flow of electric charge. So this is the basic definition of current, conductor and insulator. So moving to the resistance. So we are going to see resistance in deep, but we'll see the basic definition. So what is resistance? Resistance which opposes the flow of current. It is the property of material which opposes the flow of electric current. Okay, so what is resistance? Resistance which opposes the flow of electric current. Okay, so this is the, so we'll see from first conductor. It is material which allows the flow of electric current. Insulators which will not allow the flow of electric current. Example is dry wood, glass. Current is nothing but flow of electric charge, that is electrons, and resistance, it is the property which opposes the flow of electric current. Okay, now so we'll learn this, what is the potential difference, electromotive force in the example. So consider this is one container. Okay, so this is vessel A and this is vessel B. Okay, so this vessel A is filled with water. Okay, this is filled with water and this one is empty. So what will happen if we'll connect this two by the pipe? What will happen? The water from vessel A will flow to the water to the vessel B. So this will show you that the water will flow through this pipe from A vessel to vessel B till the water level from both the vessels become the same. So this water flow will flow until the water levels in both vessels become A and B. Both vessels become same. So this is the basic concept. So this is the flow of water through the pipe. So it will come from A and it will go to B, or it will flow to B until and unless these two vessel water levels become the same. Okay, once this water level become the same, so this will become constant. So water flow will stop. When this both water levels become the same, then the flow of water will stop. So if we want the continuous flow of water from A to B, what we have to do? So if we want the continuous water from A and B, continuous water flow from A to B, then what we have to do? There must be difference, then only water will flow, right? So here was the difference. This was full and this was empty. So here was the difference. So this water from vessel A flowed from here to here till the water levels between the two vessels became same. But now difference is 0. Then why water will flow? So if we want the continuous water flow, then what we have to do? So this is A. This is vessel B and they are connected by pipe. So the water level will become same. So if we insert here pump, okay, and we'll give this here. Okay, so what will happen? So this is the pump. Okay, so now what will happen? There will be difference because this pump will take the water from B and it will give to A. So the water level of A will increase and B will decrease. So what will they do? They will try to match the water levels. But it is possible? No. Why? Because of this pump. This pump will take water from B and it will give to A. So the water level of A will be high and B will be low. So water level of A will be high and B will be low. So water will flow from high to low level. So this water level will go to B and they will try to match, but because of this pump, what will become? This water will be forced to go to A vessel and this both will get flowing till there is no difference, but there will be difference because of this pump. So from this what we understand, this pump produces force. Due to this force there is difference between water levels A and B. So due to this difference in water level, water flows from the higher level to the lower level. Are you able to understand? The water will flow from high level to the low level until and unless both levels are similar. But what we have done here, we have added pump here. So the water from vessel B will go in A. So this A will be at higher water level and B will be at low water level. So water will flow from high level to low level so that they will match the levels, but it is not possible because of pump. So there will be continuous flow of water. Okay, so whenever we turn off this pump, then what will happen? The water will go in A, then it will have the high value, means high level of water in vessel A. So this water will flow from A to B. When this A and B vessel water levels are similar, then water flow will stop. So from this, what we have to understand, if we want the continuous flow, there must be some force, and this force is given by this pump. Okay, if the pump is stopped, there will be no force created, water difference will not be maintained, and flow will be stopped. Okay, so from this example, if you have understood this, then we'll see of the conductors how the current flows by just comparing this with our further example. So by comparing this, so consider these are two bodies. Okay, so consider these are two bodies. This is A and this is B. So this is positive charge and this is negative charge. As I told, conductor is material which allows the flow of electric current. So these are the two bodies and we'll attach here conductor. Then as in earlier example, water flows from high level to low level. Here positive means it is at high level and this is at low level. So what our current will do? This will flow, our electric current flows through conductor wire A to B. Okay, from positive to negative. Then what will happen? This flow will continue until there is difference in potential. Okay, so this both will flow until there is a difference as it was here. When they become similar, the current flow will get stopped. So what we have to do, similarly like pump, we have to take, or we have to make some force, we have to produce force, so there will be electric current flowing continuously. So these two are okay. So these two are the bodies A and B, and this is the conductor. So if you want the continuous current flow, then what we have to do? We'll connect here battery. Okay, so we'll connect here battery. As we connected here pump, what this pump did, it produced difference. So due to this difference, they were trying to match the water levels. Okay, so similarly here we attach the battery similar to the pump. So this battery will produce force. Battery produces a force so that continuous electric current will flow through our circuit. So from this example, what you understand is battery produces force. So this force is called electromotive force. Due to this force, potential difference is maintained between 2 points. That means there is difference. So just compare this to this example, to this water level or vessel example. So there must be potential difference to continuous flow of electric current to happen. So there must be potential difference. So this battery produces force, that is electromotive force. Due to this force, what happens? Potential difference is maintained. That means water level are here different. So here also, because of this battery, there are the difference produced. Due to this potential difference between these 2 points, the current flows from higher potential to the lower potential. If the battery is disconnected, then what will happen? Current flow will stop. As similar here, if this pump is disconnected, then this water level will match this water level and the water flow will stop. Similarly, it will happen in our electric circuit. Okay. So what we conclude from this, the current flows from higher to the lower potential. Okay, the current flows from the higher potential to lower potential, and there must be maintained potential difference. Okay, there must be potential difference. So now if this pipe is smooth, okay, the pipe surface, inner surface is smooth, then what will happen? The water flow will get easy. So the flow of water from vessel A to vessel B will be easy. So water will go easily from vessel A to vessel B. But if there is roughness in the pipe, okay, so if the pipe surface is rough, there will be some opposition to flow of water due to this roughness in the pipe. So this obstruct the flow of water. There will be difficulty in flow of water because of this roughness. Similarly, in our electric circuit, there is a property, or it is the property of substance that opposes the flow of electric current. The opposing property of substance is called resistance. As I said, opposes the flow of electric current. Resistance means it is the property that opposes the flow of electric current. So resistance of pure metal is comparatively lesser. Okay, so resistance means it is the opposition of flow of electric current. So now let us consider this is conductor and insulator. So conductor is that material which allows the flow of electric current. That means it has resistance, but it has low resistance. Okay, and insulators which do not allow the flow of electric current, that means it has high resistance. It is really simple. So listen, this is the resistance, that means which opposes the flow of current. So every material has its own resistance value. So conductor also has resistance, but the resistance value is low, and insulator, it has high resistance value. So the electric current not flow through them, that is a dry wood or glass. This is all about the basic. Okay, so you understood the EMF, voltage, that is potential difference, current. So now moving further, law of resistance. Law of resistance. So what is resistance? As we discussed earlier, resistance is the property of substance that opposes the electric current flow. Resistance. So now resistance depends upon, so first point is resistance of conductor. Resistance of conductor depends directly on the length of the conductor. Length of conductor. That means resistance is directly proportional to the length of conductor. So what is meant by directly proportional? If the resistance is high, that means the length of the conductor is more. So whenever the length of the conductor is more, that means resistance is high. More the length of conductor, more is the resistance. If the question is explain law of resistance, then you have to first say resistance of conductor depends directly on the length of conductor. So resistance is directly proportional to the length. If the length is greater, resistance is greater. If the length is doubled, then what will happen? Resistance is doubled. Okay. So this is the law of resistance. So first point. So where the R is resistance and L is length in meters. So now second point. Resistance of conductor depends on the cross sectional area of conductor depends on cross sectional area of conductor. Okay, so the relation is R is inversely proportional to cross sectional area. So A is the cross sectional area in square meter square. Okay, so if the cross sectional area is made twice, okay, so if the cross sectional area is made twice, then the value of resistance becomes half. Why? Because these are inversely proportional. So if the cross sectional area is made half, then the resistance value becomes 2 times the previous value. Okay, so this is inversely proportional. So law of resistance, what it says, resistance of conductor depends directly on the length of conductor. That means if the length of conductor is more, resistance will be more. Okay, now second, what it says in second point, cross sectional area of conductor. It also depends, resistance of conductor depends on the cross sectional area of conductor, and the relation is R is inversely proportional to cross sectional area. Okay, so now third one is depends upon the resistance of conductor depends on nature of material. That means if we take two conductors of the same length, okay, if we take the two conductors, so this is conductor A, this is conductor B. If we take these two conductors of same length, okay, so the length of this conductor is also same and the same cross sectional area. So these two properties are same, but what is the main cause or what is the main effect? If the length and the cross sectional area of the conductor is same, but one of conductor is, so this conductor is copper and this one is aluminium, the resistance of aluminium is more. Okay, so the resistance of the aluminium is more, aluminium resistance is more, sorry, aluminium resistance is more than copper. So copper is lesser resistance. So this resistance of conductor also depends on the nature of material. So these two both are also conductors. So these both are conductors, copper and aluminium is conductor. But as I said earlier, it has their own resistance. So the resistance value may differ by the material. So the aluminium resistance is more. The resistance of aluminium is more than the resistance of copper. So this is the symbol rho. So this is constant, the constant whose value depends on the nature of material. So this is the resistivity. This depends upon the nature of material. So rho is, so resistance is directly proportional to rho. Okay, so now we understood this, how the resistance is proportional, or what is the relation between resistance and length, resistance and area of cross sectional, resistance and nature of material. Okay, so now we'll just mix this all. So R is the resistance in ohm, so rho is the resistivity. So rho is the resistivity of material. So the resistance of conductor is also affected by the temperature. And one more point. So the resistance of the conductor, resistance of conductor is also affected by temperature. So is also affected by temperature. If the temperature of conductor increases, okay, if the temperature of conductor increases, that means temperature of conductor increases, then the resistance of the conductor is also increased. Okay, so resistance also increases. So if the temperature of conductor increases, then the resistance increases, and vice versa. If the temperature, so now we'll mix this all. If the temperature is kept constant, so if the temperature is kept constant, then what will happen? The formulation of the above things, that means of these things. So for R, length is directly proportional and area of cross sectional is inversely proportional, and this is the constant. So this is the constant. So here R is the resistance in ohm, length in meter, A is the cross sectional area, and rho is the resistivity of the material. So now R is equal to, so R is equal to rho L by A, we know. So we'll, from this formula, we'll take the value of resistivity. So rho is equal to, so this R is here, A will go here, so it will come in multiplication, and this L will come here. So from this, rho is equal to R into A by L. So length is in meter, resistance is in ohm, and area of cross section is meter square. So now from here, this m will get cancelled to the 1m, so this will remain. So this is the unit of resistivity. So this term is called resistivity of the material or specific resistance, and the unit is ohm meter. Okay, I hope you understood this much. So you will be having the problems on this formula. So you have to remember this formula. R is equal to rho L upon A. This is the formula that you have to remember. So now moving forward to the Ohm's law. Ohm's law. So what this law states, the Ohm's law, first we will understand the V is equal to I R. From this condition we have to see. So from this we can also write V by I is equal to R. So this by, I have transferred I. So V by I is equal to R. So what is the Ohm law states? Ohm law states that the potential difference or voltage, so this is the potential difference or voltage applied between the 2 points, so to the current flowing through it, is constant provided the temperature is kept constant. Okay, so this ratio V by I is constant when the temperature is kept constant. So this definition is given in your book, or you can also say that the potential difference between the 2 points, okay, so the potential difference between the 2 points is directly proportional to the current flowing through it if the condition such as temperature is kept constant. So there are two definitions. So one is from your book. So it says that potential difference, it can be written like this also, potential difference or voltage between any 2 points of conductor to the current, that means ratio of potential difference and current is constant. Current is constant if the temperature constant. So this is the definition from your book. It says that if it is the ratio of potential difference between 2 points on conductor to the current flowing through it is constant. So this ratio is constant if the temperature is kept constant. So second definition is, so it states that the potential difference or voltage applied across the circuit or the 2 points is directly proportional to the current. From this you can understand it is directly proportional. Voltage and current are directly proportional. So is directly proportional to the current when the temperature is kept constant. So you have to remember V is equal to IR is the Ohm's law. Okay. So there will be examples of this Ohm's law. Okay. So consider one circuit. So this is battery. You can say this is the battery. So this is a 9-volt battery. Okay. And this is my switch and this is my LED. I am giving this example to just you can understand why or where the Ohm's law is used. Okay, so this is the battery, this is the battery and this is LED. So this LED is a 2 volt 20 milliampere. Okay, so when this voltage is directly applied to this LED, then what will happen? So this LED is of 2 volt. Okay, so this LED is of 2 volt and we are giving 9 volt supply. So obviously it will burn or it will just get damaged. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to limit this voltage. So we have to just give 2 volts here. So what we are going to do, what is the potential difference? That means we have to calculate the difference. So that is 9 minus 2, that is 7 volt. Okay, so this is a 7 volt difference. And now we have to just give here the proper rating. So this is a 2 volt LED. So what we have to do from this equation, so our V is 7. So this is 7 is equal to, and they have given here current 20 milliampere. So the conversion is 20 into 10 raised to minus, 20 into 10 raised to 3. That means 0.02 ampere. So our current is 0.02 and we'll calculate the resistance. So 7 divided by 0.02 is equal to 350. So this is our resistance. So in this circuit we'll add here resistance of 350. Okay, so then what will happen? So this will limit the excess amount of flow. So our LED will not get burst. So from this example you can understand why we use Ohm's law or where it is used. Okay. So now moving further. Now we'll see the resistance. What is the symbol? So resistance. Resistance of material is defined as opposition to flow of current. It is measured in ohm. Okay, it is measured in ohm. Okay, so its symbol is R and this is the resistance as I applied here. Every material has resistance. So it may be metal, conductor, semiconductor or insulator. Every material has resistance. Okay, so resistance of conductor, as I said earlier, resistance of conductor is low and resistance of insulator is high. Okay, resistance of insulators are high. Resistance of a semiconductor are medium. Semiconductor are medium. And the mathematical expression for resistance, as we learnt earlier, R is equal to rho L upon E. Okay. So if in exam they ask you define resistance and explain, then these are the terms you have to explain. So what is resistance? Resistance of material is defined as opposition of flow of current. It is measured in ohm. Its symbol is R. This is the symbol. Okay, and every material has its resistance. Resistance of conductor is less. Resistance of insulator is high. Resistance of semiconductor is medium. And the mathematical expression for resistance of conductor is R is equal to rho L by A, where rho is the resistivity, L is the length, A is the area of cross section. Okay. So now we'll see resistance connected in series and resistance connected in parallel. So this is the diagram. So this is the one resistance, first resistance, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the voltage that we have applied. Okay, and this is the current flowing through it. This is the R1, resistance R2 and resistance R3. This is the current I, this is the current I. So this is V1, this is V2, this is V3. So as you can see here, this is the diagram of resistance connected in series. So when the resistance are connected end to end, that means finishing terminal of first, that means this is the resistance. So this is the resistance, and you can see here one resistance. So the finishing terminal of first resistance. So this is the finishing terminal of first resistance. So this is the first finishing terminal of first resistance is connected to the starting terminal of the next. So this is connected to the starting terminal of the next. So you can see the first one is the first resistance, and this is the second resistance, and the first resistance finishing terminal is connected to the second starting terminal. Similarly here, so this is the condition of the series connection. So you can see here. So these are the resistance R1, R2, R3. So the current is same throughout the circuit, which is shown in the figure. So the current is not divided. You can understand from this diagram, the current is similar throughout the circle. So this current is I. So this here also the current is I. Here also current is I. Here also current will be I. So the current throughout the circuit is similar. So the applied voltage. So this is the applied voltage is divided across the resistance. So voltage gets divided in series connection. Voltage of V1, V2, V3 is divided between this resistance. So now, so here the voltages are divided. So the total voltage will be V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay. So this will be the V1 plus V2 plus V3. So from the Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So V1 is equal to IR1, because the current here is similar. For the resistance R1, the voltage will be V1 and the current will be same. So this is V1 IR1. So now for voltage 2, that is V2. For voltage V2, resistance is R2. So we will write here R2, and current throughout the circuit is similar. So it will be I. So now similarly for V3, resistance is R3 and the current throughout is similar. So we have to just put here. So what is the value of V1? I R1 plus what is value of V2? I R2, and what is value of V3? I R3. So the current here are similar. So we can take 1 plus R2 plus R3. Okay. So this is our resistance R. Okay. So according to Ohm law, V is equal to I R. So this is complete R. So R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. I hope you understood this one.